also talking about a content creator, a sports analyst, popularly known as Tokes, and we'll call him Tokes this morning, Tokes of Farm Tribe. Just good morning and thanks for joining us on KAKAKI Sports.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Such a nice weekend to come back from, and thank you for having me.
All right, Tokes, let's get right into it. Our main focus this morning,
Yeah.
of course, we all know is what has been trending over the weekend, the CAF verdicts, the CAF nominee list. But let's start with the verdicts first of all. We all saw what happened to Nigeria when they got to Libya, and now the verdict is out. Like anticipated by many Nigerians, it will favor Nigeria, seeing what has happened. Do you think this punishment melted out on Libya right now is enough? Or should I say, the gain, I would say, is enough for Nigeria, but the punishment, do you think is enough?
First of all, I like to say, you see, football is very, very funny. Sometimes it doesn't really add up. You know, how Nigeria managed to get more points from one match we didn't play than Ghana have gathered from 4 matches they've played in this AFCON qualifiers is something that needs to be studied. But that being said, I think the verdict was always, somehow we always expected it to go this way because if you look at the CAF general meeting that they had when CAF president Dr. Patrice Motsepe spoke about this matter, he briefly touched on it and he was saying he was very, very careful, you know,
Yeah.
to say at each point that he's not going to speak too much into the matter. But then, if you observe his body language, you would know that this was something that they were going to clamp down on. And like I said, it's not like Libya and these North African teams are first offenders here. This is something that has been going on for a long time. But then it wasn't as loud because of the victims that they had
Involved,
then.
yeah.
Those victims being clubs like Aimba, Rivers United, and other African clubs that go to these countries and face similar things, but because it's not loud enough, you know, they get away with these things. And to them, it's just like gamesmanship. To them, these are ways that they win football matches because probably they feel they are not competitive enough.
Yes.
If you go player for player, we saw the disgusting thing that they called football when they came to Uyo to play the first leg, delaying from the first minute and all that. So for me, I feel $50,000 and three points and 3 goals is satisfactory. Do you get? But in terms of setting a standard and clamping down on it, is it something that CAF has done as much as they could have done? I don't think so, because probably maybe kicking them out of the qualifying series in all would have been.
And Tokes.
See, listen.
Okay,
You need to set
okay.
an example here.
All right.
You need to set an example here. You understand? And
True.
CAF did enough, but did they do as much as they could have done? No.
Okay. All right, so we'll leave it at that. But now we know that Nigeria stopped that group. That's the Group D with 10 points, having played just 3 matches. Thanks to the Libyans for that, you know, outburst, or should I say that display of unprofessionalism. And now they landed Nigeria 3 points and 3 goals, stopping that group, going into final match day qualifications. But now let's move from now to the other topic that has been actually trending over the weekend, the CAF nominee list. And let's start with this two, because this is how it concerns us. Ademola Lookman and talking about dependable Captain Trust Ekong making the short list there. Tokes, your thoughts on this, first of all, before we begin to go into the other nominees. The both of them, did you see, particularly Ekong? We know we expected Lookman, but did you see Ekong on this list? And how do you feel about it?
When awards like this come up on a year, like there's an association year where they had a competition, just like the Ballon d'Or in a World Cup year, you understand, there's definitely going to be some nominations like this where maybe the person didn't have as good a performance outside the tournament, but then in the tournament, if your performance is loud enough, you can just sneak into the nominations list or for things like this on that year where there's a tournament. So for me, I think it's well deserving and it sets the standard and it lets you know in the future that if you go to the AFCON and you're able to grab the player of the tournament award, you know,
automatically get a slot.
Not maybe automatically, but if your performance is loud enough, like I said earlier, you deserve a spot there because William Sekong as a defender, let's not forget, contributed to us winning games during the AFCON, taking penalties and then scoring in the final as well. So it's well deserving. And for a player that didn't win the tournament to win player of the tournament, it shows you how much he contributed. So to me, well deserved. Well deserved.
Well, were you too shocked not to see, like, in the whole list now, we can have the list now, were you too shocked not to see a Victor Boniface? I'm not disputing that Ekong doesn't deserve it. Like you rightly pointed out, he deserved to be on the list. But were you not shocked to not see a Victor Boniface, even Mo Salah, or even a returning Victor Osimhen on the list, generally, nominee list. Let's look at the list now, generally, on Africa.
I think Mo Salah has become a victim of his own standards, because if those numbers he got, let's say someone like Mohamed Kudus got those numbers, or let's say any other African player in the Premier League got those numbers, you'll be shouting that his name should be first on the list ahead of anybody else. So Mohamed Salah has become a victim of his own standards, and I feel that's somebody that he has provided consistency over the years. And if he's not doing something that's way better than he did the last season, you will say he didn't do anything. But he's always getting high numbers. And him not being on this list, you now look at what are the criteria that they selected some of the people here. Someone like Amin Guiri, the first picture that they put there, as they were putting that picture, didn't they have any feeling of guilt putting Guiri here? And then, okay, you can understand that they threw in Edmond Tapsoba. He was great for Bayer Leverkusen. He's one of the solid rocks in that defense.
Same Bayer Leverkusen that has Victor Boniface in it.
Do you understand? So there are so many inconsistencies. Victor Boniface was the standout player. Forget the fact that he didn't play the AFCON or whatever, and then maybe he has not scored for the Super Eagles, or he doesn't have a good enough record for the Super Eagles yet. But you can't just blow out everything he did for Leverkusen. And then in the future, if someone overperforms and performs for his club, is it something that you, as CAF, you can say, if this player doesn't do anything for his country, you now start saying, all right, that's your club. This is CAF, and then we need you to do something for your country, because you started it now. Are you going to follow up with it? And then you now see Achraf Hakimi there.
Yeah.
There is no way you can convince me.
That was very confusing for a lot of people. How did he get there?
How? And some people are mentioning the Olympics.
Yeah.
Rahimi you can excuse Sofian Rahimi, because I think he was his top scorer in the Olympics or something like that. He was a standard performer. But then Hakimi went into that Olympics as an overage player, and to me, I expected more, but somehow everybody is saying what he did was enough and he deserves to be there. He didn't do anything spectacular for PSG. PSG did not achieve anything great last season, and they have not been doing something out of the world this season as well. So where do we get this indices? And we know how poor Morocco was during AFCON.
Yeah.
And then you now have to talk about the expectations coming off the back of World Cup semi-final, and then you're coming into the AFCON. Everybody expected you to win it, minimum. And then you gave us that stink show, and then somehow you're making it into this list. So I just feel this is CAF somehow patronizing the North Africans. But then again, we can have a nominees list, and then there's no North African, and then we say, that's deserved. That's deserved, because the people that are meant to be there are there. And then one nomination to me that I'm happy with, me being Nigerian, of course, and you may not be happy with the South African nomination, but Romeo Williams is someone I believe he has done really, really well. And probably
and he won the goalkeeper of the tournament, I think, for AFCON.
Exactly. And I like it when things like this happen, because when other positions on the pitch are always neglected for the strikers, for the midfielders, for the people that get the goals and assists, it's somehow. But then when you recognize the contributions of a goalkeeper, not just for his country, but then in the South African League as well, he also won the Golden Glove there last season. He was being chased by Stanley Wabali, but I think if we have to tell ourselves the truth as Nigerians, he's a wonderful goalkeeper. He set the standard that other goalkeepers will be looking forward to meeting up with from the last tournament, and I'm happy with it. Even though for me, I think he's someone that should even make it into the top three. Romeo Williams.
I was getting into that question. Who do you think, aside from Ademola Lookman, who do you think will make it to top three of the list? Talking about the Player of the Year awards nominees.
Yes, so for me, the top three, Ademola Lookman, I think they have already designed everything and they have already printed his name on their award. So that's
the Nigerian you talking right there. Okay.
That one is solid. So Romeo Williams, like I said, should also be the top three. And then Seru Gurasi, I feel is someone that injury also affected as the season went on. But then moving on to Dortmund this season and firing, I think he scored a hat-trick in Mali's last AFCON qualifier. That's something loud enough. And he's someone that came out of nowhere, basically. But they would always tell you that these players have been working. He's kind of like a late bloomer. Yeah. And I think he's 27 years. So him shining at this point in time is a true testament to the work he has put in, and he's tearing up the Bundesliga as well this season. Right. He has been all right. So I think giving him that recognition, knowing that maybe this is as high as his career may
All
go. You
right.
understand? It's something that
All right, so I've
something that
gotten
will
your
be
top three now.
satisfactory.
So looking, hopefully that comes out through, and I'll call you and say, Chooks, you have to be the next octopus for our
That's
top
been
three
perfect.
CAF nominees for Player of the Year. But now, quickly before we leave this, the goalkeeper of the year, Wabali, getting that nomination after his impressive performance with the Nigeria Super Eagles. Like you rightly said, I think this is based on your performance with your country. So your thoughts on Wabali's nomination? Do you think he'll get this one quickly?
Yeah, he won't get it sadly because somehow Rowan Williams edged him both in the league and then during AFCON as well in terms of clean sheets. Yeah, but Wabali, top goalkeeper, our number one for a reason.
All right, quickly. Thank you so much, folks, for sharing your time with us on KAKAKI Sport this morning. We do appreciate.
Thank you so much.
All right. But now, quickly, before we go, let's take a look at the results from match day 9 in the Nigerian Premier League. Yes, match day 9 went down in the Nigerian Premier League, and these were the results from those encounters. Talking about Kashna United playing out a 1-0 draw right there with Niger Tornadoes, Bender Insurance, and Abia Warriors Insurance. Of course, Nassau United edging out Kano Pillars that had a lot of controversy. Even Ahmed Musa came out to, rant on the referee. We don't know how true that is, but Plateau United and Sunshine Stars were the biggest win. Plateau United edged out Sunshine Stars 3-0 in match day 9. And these were the results. Other games we played today: Kwara United against defending champions Rangers of Enugu, and Lobby Stars will be hoping to get another win and get off the bottom of the table against Bayelsa United. Those are the results from match day 9, and those are the current standing. Rivers United top the league there with 21 points and Remo Stars 18 points. Well, we'll look out for the games tonight and see if the likes of Lobby Star will be leaving the bottom of the table, or perhaps Rangers will be trying so hard to get into winning ways. That's our package on KAKAKI.